Sounds good. All right, we're going to call this meeting of the West Tawakoni EDC to order at 5:30. Present are Mary Chumley, Donna Milburn, Casey Laughlin, Larry Para. Absent is Cindy Phillips. All rise for the invocation. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask for you to bless us today, to help us make good decisions for the city and for our businesses, and to help our country in this time of war with Iran. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, do we have any citizens' input on agenda items? None? All right. We'll go to item number 5, discuss and or take action on approving a facade grant application by Mike and Shaya Bakta, who are owners of the Wagon Wheel Motel located at 1333 East Highway 276 in West Tawakoni. This couple has owned the business since 1998, live on the property, raised their children in West Tawakoni, and their youngest son graduated from Fort High School in Quinlan ISD. The business has spent $38,500 as of July 7th, 2026 for the replacement of their balcony. They have paid for and obtained the permits the city required. Those permits are attached to the facade grant that's in your packet. And they have a remainder still on the $45,665.13 bill from Pro Roofing and Construction LLC. This business provides short-term rentals. Right now, usually about 10 to 15 units are filled during fishing tournament seasons. And low-income housing in weekly or monthly rentals, right now about usually 10 to 15 people. And they are current on paying all their occupancy taxes for those short-term rentals. Future renovations are planned, including new flooring, tile, showers, bathtubs, remodeling and updating the interior, as well as doing exterior painting. So Mike is present here today to answer any questions that y'all might have from him. And if you'd like, you can stand at the podium or you can sit. Either one of you can speak.
Yeah.
Kind of tell us a little bit about what's going on and how we can help.
Yeah. So it's just a complete overhaul. We're just did the balcony, but we're gonna gut the room, do a whole new bathroom system, tile showers everywhere, as well as tile going forward. We're looking into putting new furniture as well. Complete remodel of the whole unit itself. Each all 38 rooms like that. And then we'll definitely paint the whole hotel as well. That's a good color scheme. Architects, stuff like that, just color scheme to make it match the city. So, yeah, I mean, it's just gonna be the overall. You can see it. We're doing it right now. You probably see construction the next couple of weeks, probably the next month or so. So it's coming along pretty good. Balcony's done first, and now we're done with it.
So one of the things that I talked with your dad about was how great it can be if you can get some of those rooms remodeled and looking really nice. So we have more tourists, more of the short-term rentals kind of come in. Because right now we don't have anything available for people who want to come in and be at the fishing tournaments and do short-term. They can look for maybe an Airbnb or a Verbo or something like that out here. But the closest, hotel motel for them to stay in is Greenville.
Yeah.
So, we definitely, want to have more fishermen out here, more tourists come out here, and that's kind of the growth that the city is seeing. So making sure that you've got some rooms, I want to say your nicest.
Yeah.
Your long-term renters might not like me saying that, but kind of like your nicest showcase kind of rooms for the people who come in short term. And then as they come in and you get more online positive reviews on Yelp and everything else, you're going to get more people who are willing to do that. And that brings more tourists here into the city.
Yeah, so our goal is also add technology. So, getting on Expedia and stuff like that. So once we get the remodel fully done, we're going to get a professional photographer come in and take photographs in the room, or at least a few of the rooms, and just kind of post on there. And so we'll have an online platform. So when people are looking to come to us, walk in, we just pop up on there. Because most people aren't just searching up Wagon Wheel or probably searching up hotels, but to see the views and things like that right now, they probably won't come. But once they see the new pictures and just our online presence, it's changing everything. That's the goal.
That was going to be my next question. I was going to figure out how are you going to market it,
Yeah.
or social media, or
Yeah.
on online platform. So that's really good to hear.
Yeah, technology's coming too. We just gotta first get it done first.
Get to that point, yeah.
You have 38 rooms, so there's
38 rooms.
and currently long-term rentals.
So the front side is usually daily, and the back side we're gonna do long term. But like I said, we do the short term stuff that you were just mentioning. That goes down to the short term pay for like location.
Sure. Definitely need.
City.
Definitely need a place to stay. Yeah. Always have to tell a friend staying every or elsewhere.
Yeah.
On the work that's either completed or under construction, what's the current stage of so there's a proposal here for the existing balcony rebuild, which looks like that's pretty much what this whole proposal is. What's the current state of that work?
So
That we passed the inspection as well, with the bureau.
Mhm.
They came out, they passed the inspection, but I don't know if city got it or not. And we are also waiting for it as well. Our client wants to see it as well, but the day when he was there, he says, yes, it is passed.
And that was
What's
on
the
the
state?
balcony? I'm sorry. Was that on the balcony?
that was
Yes,
the balcony.
Okay.
So the balcony's complete.
Complete.
They had some issues with a few like things like just make sure things were placed correctly on the beams and stuff. We fixed that. It came out this week. They passed us. So we got our finals are done. It's done.
Nice.
So right now, currently, we have a group in there doing gutting and redoing the shower. We do have one. I wish I took a picture. I just saw it. It looks really beautiful. But yeah, it looks like golden. It's like looks granite. It's granite style with golden. And you'll, I mean, I'll take pictures and show you guys. But it looks really beautiful. So
But it wasn't complete, so that's.
yeah, we didn't want to. Yeah, so it'll look weird.
Great to hear about the improvements.
Yeah, so we're putting about, just to give you a rough estimate, we're putting about $100,000 into the whole project, gutting, completely doing thing, and still paying the whole hotel.
So is this one of multiple grants that you may be applying for?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Larry, do you have any questions?
Not that it matters for this particular deal, but where's the balcony? It's on the backside of the.
No, the balcony's a whole wraparound. You'll see it when you drive
Oh,
by.
really?
It's wrapped around the whole thing. The whole, yeah, you'll see it today when you drive by.
Shows how much attention.
Yeah.
It's hard to see if you're going speed limit.
Yeah,
Usually rolling,
it's
it's
hard to
hard to see.
tell, but you'll see it.
No, this is the wagon wheel.
It looks really good.
Wagon wheel, it's down the street on the left.
Great. Any questions?
I don't have any more questions.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk among ourselves and then we will vote on if we approve the grant and then how much we'll approve, if we approve it, okay? All right, so if you look at the application, they filled out everything the way we've requested. They have a copy of the receipt from Pro Roofing Construction. The last page shows that they paid a confirmed payment of $20,000 on May 11th. It's on the sheet attached to what I've given y'all. And then I just received the email and I'll confirm it and I'll print it out and put it with our documents. They also made a payment on June 25th of $18,500. So total to date, as of July 7th, they have paid $38,500 on this project. When I went back through and I did stop by and look at the work, my husband and I both got out, we walked around, we looked at the sturdiness of the balcony, we looked at what they were doing. I thought they were doing an excellent job. Good work, and the quality of the materials are really good. You know, my husband's done carpentry, you know, all of his life, as well as being a teacher. And he looked and he said, they've got good quality materials here and they're doing a good job putting it together. So on the application, he has asked for the full 10,000, but they are just shy of hitting the $50,000 mark where our grant would allow the full 10,000. So they are in the range 25,000 to 50,000, which puts them at a 15% grant rate. So the maximum grant per our contract that's been approved by City Council that we can give them today is 7,500. But if you recall, last meeting, we talked about the importance of us giving grants for interior work as well. We talked about and we voted and agreed we were going to do what Quinlan EDC does. So Quinlan EDC helps provide for payments for things on the interior buildings that are permanent and stay with the buildings. And the purpose of that, you know, as we talked about, is when somebody goes in and they remodel, whether it's a restaurant and they put in walk-in coolers, you know, which is what Quinlan was talking to me about with restaurants, or we're talking about a motel, hotel, and you're putting in showers, sinks, tile, that stays with the property. So it improves the value of the property. So if these owners, you know, eventually say, okay, that's it, we're selling, it enhances the sell value of that property as well. And the new owners have a well-built, well-done property. So we allow our fiscal year ends October 1st, September 30th. We can do, I'm thinking, unless you see something wrong with this, Mary, if y'all look at this stuff in the city all the time, we could do $7,500 this time and then allow them to put in the next grant application because they're putting in, you know, it'll be another $50,000 and come back again with the next grant application where we have the receipts for things like sinks, tubs, tile, and the interior remodel. Because this is just exterior.
Sure.
And we don't have any receipts for interior stuff.
So the total invoice on this was $65,350 and then a returning customer discount. So they're still up in the 50s, which would qualify them for the full 10,000, correct?
Ah,
The
okay.
amount due is balance due after some payments been made. With overall project scope,
62, I mean,
nothing's been taken off of this project. as
No,
far as
I need
full
the
scope.
4,000, that's
Yeah.
what
We're still gonna pay the rest of that, we just haven't yet, so.
yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
that's why I need your
I
brain.
guess
Well, it's
Steven,
in the application, total cost of project 62,000.
Okay, all right. That's why I need your brain. So bad, thank you.
one thing that
So this
hasn't
would-
come up yet is if we do the grant based on subtotal or subtotal including sales tax, would sales tax be as exempt to the grant?
We don't really have that.
Which he qualifies either way. It doesn't drop below 50 even if you remove the sales tax. That's something we need to clarify.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something to probably look into in the application itself or the contract. Future one. I mean, he said the project itself, the overall is gonna be over 100,000, right?
Yeah, the overall project for everything.
Yeah.
This specific part.
Yeah,
this
no,
is-
makes sense.
So it does still qualify for the full
Does.
10.
Yeah, this is us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that being said, budget allowance,
That would come out of
the 22,000, correct?
infrastructure. We can,
The facade grant?
I think we could do the infrastructure.
I
Do
would,
we have to do it out of grant?
it would be cleaner if we did it out of grant versus infrastructure development.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
like, if you look at the spreadsheet that everybody has, sorry, words are not coming out today. Let's see, we've got 88.5 in grants, and then we have not spent anything under the 4A, 4B projects. And then we still have money left in other projects. So even if we wanted to use grants and then other projects to cover to get them that 10, we still could. I mean, that's how I would personally like to see it versus doing the
Okay.
infrastructure.
because I'm a broken record and ask the same questions over and over, can you
Okay.
explain the 4A4B again? Briefly.
Okay,
Yeah, go ahead.
four
I
A
know
four
you just went through this last meeting, but it didn't seem to-
Gotta go, well, you gotta go to that sales tax workshop to get the full
Yeah,
Yeah, even then, once
definition
you've
of
been
all
there,
of
it's
it.
still kind of fuzzy.
It is still kind of confusing, but 4A, 4B, however whenever our predecessors came up with these, because that was before any of us were around, came up with these particular things on the budget. 4A, 4B projects really just refer to any projects that are allowed by an EDC. So for example, EDCs are allowed to help with building exteriors, with facades, with parking lots. They're allowed to help with job training, and we have a different job training line item. It still includes the job training. We're allowed to help with low-income housing, with anything that's approved. We can do water taps, sewer taps, roads that go to businesses. But for those, we would probably do those under the infrastructure
So
component.
it's very flexible.
It's very flexible. It's basically anything that's approved by the state government for us to be able to pay money on.
We have the money currently in grants, but it's pretty much everything we have in grants.
I'd say, yeah, and grants and other projects it would pretty well take the rest of it. We've got the 25 in the 4A, 4B that we could use, that we have not touched. And then, yeah, that's kind of where I'm seeing things.
Well, if we can do it either way, my preference would be that we take it out of the 4A, 4B. Okay? Because we've got two other grants that we've got another one tonight that we're going to look at, and then we've got another one being brought to us in August for the park. So if we take it out of the 4A, 4B projects, which is to qualify under, that would leave us enough money in the grants for the rest of this fiscal year to handle those other two new grants that are coming in.
I like it.
Okay? Larry, what do you think?
I think it sounds good to me. I think we're able to do it
Okay,
without any problem.
okay.
Yeah, I love the improvement, especially on the main thoroughfare.
Yeah.
Improves the look of the whole city. So, good job.
We're very excited. We're very excited to help. You know,
Yeah,
the EDC wants to help businesses. And so I know I get a little excited anytime we get something that comes in where we're helping a business, you know, as opposed to something that, you know, ultimately we're hoping will help bring business. This is a direct help on a business. All right. So do y'all want to go with the full, they qualify for the full 10,000?
I think so. That's
I
a substantial
think we
investment.
might as well just go with the 10,000.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, so the chair would entertain a motion that we approve the facade grant application by Mike and Shahaya Bakhta, owners of the Wagon Wheel Motel located at 1333 East Highway 276, West Tawakoni, Texas 75474, for the total grant allowed amount of $10,000.
I'll make a motion to approve the 10,000 for the wagon wheel.
I'll
I
second that.
second that motion.
That's what unless Larry wants it.
We'll give it to Larry.
All right, we'll give it to Larry.
All in favor?
I
Aye, it is unanimous. So it passed.
And so just to add to where we're pulling out of the 4A, 4B,
4A, 4B.
I'm gonna go ahead and write it on my spreadsheet so we are good. I'll come right there with it.
Thank you guys very much for coming in and talking with us. And so we will, you'll coordinate with me. And it'll be, you got to give us about a week and a half for us to be able to get a check for you. Okay? All right. But Jen don't have to stay anymore. You can go on home and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Yeah, he came from that. Yeah, I came from
that.
that.
Well, enjoy your drive.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Stop somewhere and eat on the way out.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye-bye. Okay. So now we'll move on to item number 6. Discuss and or take action to approve Kathy Bledsoe's appointment to the West Tawakoni Economic Corporation Board. Mrs. Bledsoe resides inside the city limits of West Tawakoni and would be replacing Rhett Byers' position. Kathy, would you come all the way up to the podium for us? Thank you. This is Kathy. She lives down the street from me, and I've nominated her to consider coming on the board and helping us out. Inside your packet is her application, which includes her history and kind of what she's done. So y'all ask her your questions, grill her hard. No, I'm kidding.
I don't have any questions.
Kathy, how long have you lived here in West Tawakoni?
We bought the house in 2015, but we still lived in Plano. And then we were not spending a lot of time in Plano, so we sold that house and moved out here permanently. So since 2018, we lived here.
I'm not familiar, Kathy. What is a professional business analyst? What's the
Senior business
skill?
analyst?
Senior.
Well, I actually designed and developed internet-based banking systems for wire transfers. This will be installed in about 1,000 banks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it,
Big project.
yeah, it was fun. Love fun job.
You know, I never did ask you. You told me several times that your family owned restaurants.
Southern
That-
California.
So, do they ever own any in Dallas?
No, they were all California.
And you worked with your dad some in the restaurant business?
Yes, yes. Mainly while I was going to college. So mainly summer breaks. And that.
What piqued your interest in the EDC?
I've been wanting to get involved. I didn't really want to do politics or anything. But since I retired, I've wanted to do something. And Donna suggested this to me and thought I might be a good fit for it to be able to help the city a little bit. So that's what I want to do.
Okay. The reason I'm sitting here.
Yeah, I say reason
Minus the
everybody's
retired
sitting here. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm good.
I'm really grilled.
Did she warn you that you were going to be grilled? No, of course not. But you know, one of the things that I'm kind of excited about, and I know, you know, Casey hears me say it all the time because I'm so happy, you know, that he agreed to come and do this, is a service that you do. It's for free. We don't get paid for this.
Oh,
And
That changes things apparently.
and we need people with brains. We need people with history, people who know what's going on here, and people with their own ideas and their ability to look at things and to do things like say, wait a minute, the actual project costs $65,000. It's not 45, so he qualifies. I need that, which is really great to hear. So I was like, I knew that's something that I'd also be able to get if you would join us.
well, I'd love to.
All right. So the chair would entertain a motion that we accept Kathleen, that we approve, now what would the word motion be? That we recommend to city council
Yes.
to appoint Kathy Bledsoe onto the EDC board.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll put this on the next agenda, probably August agenda.
If you can put on the 23rd, it would be best.
I can't put it on, no, that agenda's already posted. Like, put it on Thursday's agenda.
No, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay.
I was like, that was,
I'm sorry.
done.
Checks are an issue. You know,
No,
get
that's
people
no problem.
paid. So, all right, thank you. So what
Thank
happens, Kathy, what happens next is we send the recommendation to city council.
Okay.
It'll be on their agenda for August.
It would be, unless city council agrees to do another meeting, August 11th.
So
Or next regular
August 11th, and you'll come to city council. and they'll have a copy of your application because Mary has it and we'll make copies of it and you'll get to talk to city council.
I'm just a little worried, here that you're overqualified for this position you're at.
Donna told me to put all that.
Oh, okay.
Well, thank
I look
you.
forward to working with you, Kathy.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. I am.
And you guys don't have to stay if you don't want to for the rest of the meeting.
Easy, I know I'm getting that.
Riley. And if you're gonna take my husband home, you have to leave me the keys.
Again, his thermos.
Okay, all right.
Take
But
care.
you can
Thank
go,
you.
you can go home with them if you'd like. They'll babysit. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But bring me the keys.
Oh, you can unlock that door. Or the door. All right.
All right, so let's move on to number 7. Discuss and or take action to approve $9,074.39 grant payment to Griggs Mechanical LLC for a replacement unit for a 20-year-old HVAC system that is failing at the Tawakoni Area Library. Griggs Mechanical provided the middle bid of 3 obtained. They were all within 1,000 of each other, you recall. It is the only business located within the city limits of the city of West Tawakoni. It provides sales tax dollars to the city, and it retains primary jobs in the city. The Tawakoni Area Library provides important services to the community and is directly involved in projects related to job training. Those are both authorized projects for EDCs to pay for, 4A, 4B projects. Section 501.101 and section 501.102. So Harriet filled out another application and she signed it on 7/17 with the exact grant amount of $9,074.
Makes me feel a little better.
And I will share with you, I did ask her about the previous grant request of $33,000. And she told me something that just made me laugh so hard. She said, well, it's always worth trying.
I mean, can't falter for that.
No, can't falter for that. But she did tell her no, we should not provide that. But they have to have this. We don't have any place else for job training. They can't run on one air conditioning unit. The second one is failed. And we have a situation where I will tell you, particularly out here during the summer months, we have a lot of citizens who go up there so they can get into a cool building, have access to a computer if they want to look for job searches or anything else. And a lot of the citizens out here, they don't have internet, they don't have computers. And lately, every time I've gone up there, like when I went up, for example, to get this second grant application, there are people waiting at the door for her to come in and unlock it at 11 in the morning. They're just waiting to get in. And we've got a couple of walkers out here who I don't think have cars, and they walk all the way down the road to go to the library and sit down and cool off and have some place to be. So I think it provides a really great service for our community.
Do you know if Griggs Mechanical already, did they install the first unit already?
Yes, the first unit is installed and working well. And there should have been a picture on the EDC Facebook
I did see
page.
that, yes. Now that I asked the question, it didn't go.
Well, they were all great. They all kind of jumped out and waved high.
Yes.
For the camera.
Yes.
All right. So, Chair would entertain a motion for us to provide them with the payment for the second unit of $9,074.39.
I'll make a motion to approve the second unit for $9,074.39.
I'll second that.
All right, we've got a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So it passed unanimously. All right, so I think that it might be wiser to have a motion to move item 9 to item 8 spot and then do item 8 to number 9 spot.
I'll make a motion to move item number 9 before item number 8.
Second that motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
So we have moved item 9 up above item 8. Let's go to item 9, discuss and/or accept resignation from the WTEDC Board of Kathy O'Neill. All right, so when Kathy was asked to sign checks on July 1st, she couldn't because she was sick. So she sent a text message. She couldn't that day. She was sick, but she would try on July 2nd. On July 2nd, she texted, yes, I do feel better. But she didn't come to City Hall on the 2nd to pay. So she tried to come in on July 3rd to sign the check, and it was closed because it was a holiday. On July 4th, I reached out to her and she said, let me know that she hadn't been able to sign the checks yet. And I told her, no problem, Monday will work. She texted, okay. Then Monday on July 6th at 1:29, she texted me that she would not be here at the EDC meeting. I told her I was so sorry based on what she told me was going on. And I asked if she could still sign checks. And just for clarity here for the members of the board, on July 1st, when I let her know that checks needed to be signed, we sign checks twice a month at a minimum. And I let her know on July 1st that our mowing service for Courtney Cox, he had 2 mows that needed to be paid. So he was owed $250 and was starting to ask, hey, when am I going to get payment? And he has every right to be paid in a timely fashion. So we need to get checks signed. So on July 6th, when I asked her if she could still go sign them, she texted back and let me know that checks are signed, but I resign. And you have, she said, no hard feelings. We're wrong to ask someone when they're feeling that way to go sign a check. But she said, I resign. So that was on the 6th. So a week later, on July 13th, on Monday, I texted a request that if she was still resigning, could she send me an email? And that if she changed her mind and wanted to stay on the EDC, I said, I'd love to have you stay here. And she texted back, I will send an email. I never got an email. Now, where I was mistaken is I thought that in order for a resignation to happen, that we as a board were supposed to put it on an agenda and meet and accept a resignation. But that's kind of our procedure for how we do that. But our attorney Lee informed me that I was mistaken, that when somebody sends a written resignation, so when Kathy on July 6th said, I resign, that means at that point, 8 days from that date, she is off the board legally, unless she sends something written that says she rescinds that. She never sent anything saying she rescinds that and wanted to stay on the board. And so that means that as of July 17th, she was officially off the EDC board. So, and just to kind of let you guys know, I did tell her she could fill out another application to see about coming back. Yeah. I'm thankful for the work she's done here. I think she's been an important part of this process for many years. And understand there's some, posts out there about this situation. I don't know what to tell you. She said, I resign. And you've got the reason that what's included in your packet is the letter, an email documenting everything that was said to the attorney and a copy of the relevant screenshots of the text messages, is so that needs to go in the file. So there's a clear, documentation of what was said and what occurred.
If you just keep it black and white and you get rid of everything except for where she says she resigned, then the date's passed, then it is what it is. It doesn't, like, the rest of the verbiage means nothing.
Right.
So
I don't know if we need to do anything with it. According to Lee, she's off the board.
No, since we've already passed that date, there's no need to accept resignation, and you can, as a formality, if you chose to. I know we've done that on council. But according to the law, it's already done. Past the 8 days of rescinding it, so it is official.
Okay.
You can either use this action as a no action item, or, I mean, if we want to officially, kind of reiterate that, we can for the record, but it's kind of already set.
What date is she resigned as of 17?
July 17th.
So July 6th was the date of the text.
Yes.
Yes.
And she worked through the rest of the days without
Rescinding
that.
it.
Yeah.
That led to it being
So-
formalized.
8 business days would be July 17th. So do y'all, on city council, y'all do go ahead and vote on it as a formality?
Usually it's already on the agenda, just in case. So, but as a formality, we have voted on it before.
All right, well, I think we probably ought to go ahead and follow the same procedures as our city council. So I'll make a motion that we accept the resignation from the board of Kathy O'Neill.
I'll make a motion to accept based on the text message on the 6th and the 8 days passing without rescinding.
Second that motion.
All right, so give the motion to Casey, the second to Larry. All in favor? So it's unanimous. All right, now we'll move on to item 9, which was originally item 8. Discuss and or take action on removing Kathy O'Neill as treasurer for the WTEDC and appointing another board member in the role of treasurer, with the understanding that this individual will be authorized to be the second signer on all WTEDC checks. All right, let me tell you that kind of along the same line, the proposal I'm making, I'm going to suggest that we see about appointing Mary as the treasurer for 2 very important reasons. One is to avoid a situation where I'm having to send a text to another board member to say we have checks that need to go out and have any kind of misunderstanding or hurt feelings or anything else. And so a lot of the checks that we do here, I hand deliver, so I save us postage. So once we get a check, like for the mowing, I come, I do my second signature, I drive it to the person and I hand deliver it. If I'm reimbursing people who are not here, I might drive a reimbursement check to you, or I'll run into you somewhere, and I make sure I get the checks to people so we're not paying for postage. Since Mary works here, and I think she's staying, she's here, so it makes it really easy to get the second signature on the checks. The other thing is that it causes me some anxiety when I have a situation where somebody's owed money and I don't have the second person signing come in and sign it. And then because they're owed money, I go ahead and make the decision to write a personal check to them and that gets reimbursed from the EDC funds, which is perfectly fine. And we do that legally. But in terms of just an easy look at our books for auditors or open records requests, or when you're looking at the bank statements, I don't want to have people see and go, oh, Donna got a check for this amount, Donna got a check for this amount, because then you have to go and either look in the EDC records or pull the files from here at City Hall to see, here's the invoice, Donna was reimbursed for paying the mower $250. Or Donna was reimbursed, one time when I first came on board, Sylvia was our secretary, she hadn't been paid for 4 months. So I wrote her a personal check for $400 and the EDC reimbursed me for $400. That's not the cleanest, nicest way to do business when we're talking about a government body, which is what we are. And so if Mary's treasurer, she's here, that's less likely to happen because when I need those checks signed, we're both here, they get printed, we both sign them, and then I'm able to get them delivered.
I fully agree. That makes the most sense.
No.
Who drafts the checks? There's no
Not always me.
I don't
Our
know.
finance
I
assistant
think
does as well.
Donna's getting wealthy then.
Yeah.
Jeannie or myself will cut the checks.
There's no conflict of interest, the person drafting the check, signing the check. No issue there.
No, and it's Jeannie who actually drafts them and pulls them out. What happens is I'll come up here to City Hall with the invoices, with the things that need to go with it, because we keep, you know how big I am on that paper trail. I want an invoice statement, I want a receipt, I want a documentation about what it is, and like in here, when we approve it, like we approved that grant application, there'll be a copy in here, there'll be a copy in the file, there'll be an invoice, and there'll be receipts.
And every check requires 2 signatures.
Every check requires 2 signatures. And we ended up with a moment of anxiety for me too, when we had a situation where I recall, telling you guys we had the $60,000 CD that was inappropriately in the city's account all these years. When it came due, Mary and we worked it out, and the bank cut a cashier's check for $60,000 and some odd change, and handed her the cashier's check. So then she hands me the cashier's check, and I go back to the same bank to get it deposited in our account. And then the bank manager and I sit there and we figure out how to do that, because you have to have 2 signatures on these checks, and they were able to do it as long as nobody signed the back of it, and they did a special stamp on it, so we got the $60,000 put in our bank account. But a cashier's check or a money order is like cash in your hand.
float
Something
around.
happens to it and it's gone. So
I had to look at it every day just to make sure it was still right there.
and she was like, "Do you want me to give it to you to put in your safe at home?" I'm like, "No."
It's safe here.
So it is safely in the bank. I have the copy of that deposit in our files. So the chair would entertain a motion that we appoint Mary to be the secretary and the second signer on
Secretary?
EDC checks. Treasurer, and
Wait a
second signer on
minute. Wait a
EDC
minute.
checks.
I make a motion that we appoint Mary as secretary.
I'll second you, Larry.
Treasurer.
Treasurer.
Treasurer, I'm sorry. Secretary treasurer.
Me too. Well, you're just, me too. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And once we have that in minutes and on record, we can send that to the bank. And so the notes will have to state that we removed Kathy as treasurer, and then adding me as treasurer and as a bank signer, authorized signatory to the bank. That way, and they'll even take the draft minutes as long as we're waiting for them to be approved. So
Okay.
we don't have to wait until August 11th before our minutes are approved. That makes
Okay.
sense.
All right. So Pam, here's the first thing from me to you. That, yeah, the draft of this one as fast as you can for me, only
This might
because
be easy, it's not long like this.
I have people asking for money. Mowing's due, payments due again today. All right, so let's move on to number 10. Discuss and or take action to begin the workshop on the EDC budget for the next fiscal year.
You guys are the first of seeing the spreadsheet format.
I like it.
Thank you.
You're good.
Thank you. I chuckle at that because I spent so much time last year throughout the whole budget process configuring the format, and I'm hoping I don't have to do that this year. I can focus on the numbers and we
It's
can.
a much more simplified view
Yes, I would agree.
that's easy to follow.
And then having this one here is always helpful too. But we go through each column. You've got the 24, 25 adopted, then you've got the 25, 26 adopted. The next one that says current includes any amendments that we've made. So if there's any amendment changes, you'll see that in the current column, and then the year-to-date is what we have spent or received. And the next column is just for me to fill in the numbers. And if we want, I can get on the computer and pull, not the spreadsheet up, but I can pull our software up where it'll automatically calculate any changes I make, so we can see how that reflects the bottom line. That's gonna be up to y'all, if y'all even wanna go that far, if y'all just wanna kind of look at numbers, kind of get an idea.
Let's just look at numbers right now.
Okay.
And I think the reason I printed this out is because this was our posted budget for last year. So this simplifies it. This is where all of our money is.
This is just the expenses too, though. It's not showing our revenues.
No, this is your, yeah, we will want to look at all of that, but we already know we've got some things that do need to change.
We need to talk about it.
Can I ask you a question, Donna?
Yeah.
So we've set on a pretty good cash reserve for a lot of the year. We came in with a pretty good cash reserve. We set a budget that was based on,
What is it on here?
I don't have that number. My question is, do we need to, is there any specific cash reserve that we're trying to maintain as we're setting budget? Obviously, we can say, hey, we're anticipating bringing in $70,000 in new revenue. We have X amount in the
We
bank.
have a,
How much of that are we supposed to reserve and not put towards the budget?
I think that one of the big items that we did was
bank statement.
one of the big items that we did is we put that $100,000 into infrastructure. And I think we want to keep a large amount in there. And that's because I don't know what all may end up being needed for the projects that are hopefully going to continue and come in. And I understand that they have pulled permits for the gas station when the city lowered the amounts down to $3,200 for the permits. He did go pull those permits, so that project is going forward. So we may have the ability to help out for other projects next year, because as that starts getting built, we may have more businesses coming in.
And I see your question based off of like a reserve balance. If
Correct.
I'm not sure as far as the EDC records, and I know I'll say on a city council perspective, we are currently looking at creating a reserves policy. I don't know if EDC has one. Do you recall seeing any records of policy of where we're going to leave our reserves and if we can pull more? Okay.
What was cash on hand at the last statement?
189, 967, and 96 cents. I just wrote it down.
And we just deposited the $60,979.22.
And you'll see that in the other revenues line. Right. The second $60,000 number.
All right, right here.
Do we have any other CDs that are?
We do.
outstanding?
Also put that on our.
Yes, we need on 30-4027, that CD that we have.
Yeah.
We currently have a CD.
But we're not gonna really, to be quite honest with you, that 60,979 it needs to come into here, into that CD line, because that's just a revenue line. Next time we meet, I will have our CD balance at the top,
All right,
because that's just money we would have brought in if I put that there. So this really needs to be moved there, and I'll make that change.
all right. And you need to put in the CD of 50,842.86, which we currently have. That matures October 16th of 2026.
I'm sorry, it's another CD.
Yes. So we have one CD for 50,842, and that CD is locked in till October 16th, 2026. Then the rest of our money is all in cash in the bank account.
We have just shy of 300,000 that'll be available cash
Mhm.
by October, plus anticipated 70,000 next year in sales tax revenue.
Yeah, I think we ought to take that number from 90 back down to 70.
I would think that's fine. I will make that reflection. So So we're saying, I'm gonna go ahead and write it in here, so 30, 41, 18, we're gonna make it 70,000.
Yes.
And then, do we think in October we're gonna roll the CD over, or are we going to cash it in?
I know I would prefer for us to not roll it over, but take out a new CD at a higher interest rate.
Okay.
If we can't get.
So then
more
we're gonna
for
leave
money.
that first line blank, because we don't plan on bringing any revenue from our CD.
Okay,
I'm just trying to go from top to bottom, if that makes sense.
all right.
And if you wanna follow one, there's a spreadsheet right there, so you got lost. Interest income, I mean, that's, I need to look at those and kind of get a better understanding as to what those are, but I'll follow up on that and see where that may just be an error here. Not an error, it may not have been entered all the way in, so I will check on those.
Okay, yeah, because I'm thinking our interest of $8.62 sounds correct for almost a year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not sure what the numbers were based off of on the budget. Does that make sense?
I wonder if that's interest income off of the CD. It gets wrapped back into the CD.
It could be. It could be. When you did our new CD, do you have interest being positive?
Yeah, that must be where it comes. So the interest keeps being redeposited into the CD. Our CD note originally taken out was for $50,000. We now have $50,842.86. So the $842.86 is
Was
the
put
interest.
into the CD.
But it's gone stay in the
Okay.
CD.
So then that 862 is probably correct then.
Okay.
So we'll leave that at whatever we want to call that, those numbers. Okay. And then we want to go in, so how much, and this is going to come into Casey's question, how much are we thinking in carrying over from our reserves? Or do we not want to know that number just yet till we kind of go through some expenses?
I think we're gonna have to go through expenses.
Okay.
And then other revenues.
That was at CD, so we shouldn't have, I would say don't budget anything into other revenues unless we have any sort of random other revenues we're bringing in. We could, and we don't have on here, our rental, if we start renting out that building, we probably should create a line for that. Do we want to
Yes.
go ahead and budget an amount or leave it unbudgeted? Casey has a question.
Here, I may have missed this, the 60,979, that's the CD that we just put in
Yes.
last week.
Yes. And let me see that bank statement. No. Does that include that money? That's what I'm wondering.
No.
Okay, so that we're looking at the 189. We're looking at the cash balance 189 plus that 60,000. So there's a lot more than for some reason I thought that 189 included that 60,000. So do we want to create a new line item for revenue for rental income?
Yes.
Okay. We want to
So-
budget for that.
All right, so city council is, they still have time to talk about swapping property, swapping land. But, reading the tea leaves, I'm suspecting that may not occur. And so, I mean, it may not, they still have this September 1st. The deadline was helpful. And so they'll make that decision. And I already have people calling to rent the building. So I now have a waiting list of people. So that as soon as we get the word back from city council, I'm gonna reach out to you, Casey, because we already voted and approved. If we rent it to the city, we'll rent it directly ourselves. If we don't rent it to the city, we're gonna use the realtor to do it because they have all the paperwork and they can manage that. So if the city doesn't want to rent it immediately, and they want to rent it maybe in 1 or 2 years, then we will have 1 or 2 years that we can rent that property out for commercial rental and be bringing in an income. And so as soon as I get kind of that word, I'll reach out to you, so, because you've got the contact with the realtor, so we can see what, the paperwork and everything be presented back to us as a board. So if I recall correctly, they said that most likely the rent, they estimated based on the property, somewhere around 500 a month. So that would be 6,000.
So if we went to the, from what point, October, all the way through, October through the whole year?
For a year, the whole
That's a-
fiscal
that's a
year.
full year.
Y'all wanna put that as that, or do
Do
you
you think we
wanna,
can get a renter in
do
by
you think get
October?
rid of October 1?
If they give us an answer by September,
Probably not, probably by November.
we can make 5,500.
I was thinking 55 or
11 months.
even 3, just to kind of give a few months to get it. If it's gonna take them a few months to get ready, or us to give a few months in, I wouldn't want to overshoot it and balance out.
Do you think 3,000 might be a better?
That's what I'm thinking. But I need to go handle something.
Oh, go ahead.
Like, what did you say?
She thinks maybe 3,000. To anticipate $3,000 in the next fiscal year of rent.
I guess what's the negative, what's the consequence if we overshoot? As long as we're sitting on the cash reserve and we're not,
I don't know, that's a good question.
right? If we call, say, 100,000 or zero, then we have a buffer there. Then we undershoot a little bit, but if we don't go for it, then we end up, if we're not loading our budget, then we end up getting in sticky situations for grants and different things. It seems like we're fixing it aggressive this year with the grant money. We don't want to. Come August, July, August, have to look at the cash.
And having to do budget amendment. Because one of the difficulties with a budget amendment is that when we come in and we vote and we amend a budget, then it has to go to city council has to approve our amendment, and then we have to pay to publish it again in the newspaper. So that's why, it was great when TEDC, explained, you just once your budget is approved, you publish it, and then as much as possible, work within your budget, so you never have to do a budget amendment, and then you're able to function easier without having to go back to city council every time you're doing something, and then have to turn around and republish it in the newspaper.
Because realistically, if they give us an answer September 1st, that gives us a month to prepare the building permit. Because we still have a meeting after September 1st, we can discuss it. That puts us into October. Yeah, October. Hopefully by November we can get it in, and we'd have.
Yeah, 'cause it looks nice.
The only thing that's going to slow us down is meetings to approve.
I go with 5,000.
I don't want to. I would love to have.
Well, let's ask her about it. So,
If our zero is actually flat zero, then yeah, we really have to dial it into the penny. But as long as we plan budget with a reserve, then we're going to put ourselves in a bind if the income side doesn't come in. If I'm looking at that right, maybe I don't understand. Because the way I see it right now, we have roughly, we look at what we have in CDs, what we have in pure cash, and what our sales tax revenue potential is for next year. We have about 370,000 to play with, not including the rent. So it gives us room to be pretty aggressive. If we don't spend the budget, we don't spend it, but at least it's there if we need it.
all right, so we'll wait when she gets back. We'll ask her more about that. Now, we already know there are a couple of things we need to do on the cotton patch. We already approved, to give the cotton patch the 1,500. So we're taking the 1,000 from the cotton patch, and then we're going to take 500 from, which one where am I doing that on? We're doing 500 on advertising, because we're advertising for the city, marketing and promotion. So we're doing 500 from 3009-5315 for cotton patch this year, and then the 1,000 from 3009-5280, which is exactly the cotton patch. That's why we don't have to do a budget amendment on that. We're able to split it between those two and pull that money. But for next year, we ought to go ahead and increase the cotton patch so we don't have to do that again, all right? So I'm suspecting it's gonna be the same amount. Y'all wanna increase that to 1,500?
Yes.
Okay.
We need to wait a minute.
Yeah, because she's got to write them down. All right. For secretarial wages, we had 1,500. No, Pam, you're not getting an immediate raise.
Sorry, perk up over there.
I think we ought to probably leave it at 1,500. She's paid 100 each time she comes in. If you, that's 1,200. You do, all it takes is, 3 or 4 special sessions like this, and it hits that. So you want to leave that at 1,500?
I think that's solid.
Okay. And we'll discuss, we've got to have a quorum in here to do it, but we'll discuss all that when Mary comes back into the room so that we'll be okay.
How many special sessions did we have this year? Just one, right? I can see a need for more, but I don't know that we had any others that I recall.
No, we had maybe one last year. We had one last year. So, but that was it. It's good to be able to have that flexibility to know if you need to. If when the agenda gets posted, if something's wrong on it and then we can't have the meeting, or if we don't have a quorum and we have something that has to be done, we have to call a special session, then that gives us some flexibility.
This, what happened to the lady that was, she's still with us? The lady that sat over there?
Well, Cindy, that'll be on a different agenda item.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Just hit me. I haven't seen her for a couple of meetings.
So, now last year, Mary talked about, if I recall correctly, us taking some of the things out that no longer apply. So for example, advertising Jam Fest, there is no Jam Fest anymore. So, I think it might clean up a lot if we went ahead and we got rid of some of those.
Prior year carryover, that's just money that wasn't spent out of the budget, is that correct?
Yes, I think so. So was Mary saying the total, when she had the total of 212 for our total 2025, 2026 current?
That's based on carryover plus $90,000, what we had anticipated. Actual, so
okay.
60 on sales tax revenue.
Okay.
And they deposit that bi-weekly, or I don't remember.
Yeah, we're getting our sales tax
So we have
twice a month is what we get. So right now, what's coming in each month is $5,000 in sales tax. And our farmer electric bill is just $25. Oh, no, that's not right.
That's,
I'll have to check and see. My guess is the 493.50. No, well, I'll have to ask her which is the electric bill.
25, I like the $25.
Yeah, me too.
What's the date for new budget? October 1st or October 31st?
October 1st.
First.
Yeah, so our fiscal year ends September 30th.
72,000.
Any guess what development maintenance for $120 would have been?
On what?
Development maintenance for 120?
Are we talking about the building?
I don't
Building
think,
Maintenance?
I don't think so.
No.
We haven't spent it this year. It was in budget. It never came up unless it comes up in the next 8 weeks.
That's ours, right?
Then,
It doesn't come up.
if I recall, didn't it have something to do with developing of a website or, seemed like it was a previous expense, something web related when we discussed it, a year ago, opposed to. Yeah, maybe I don't know.
Well, we know our attorney fees will stay the same, our Chamber of Commerce dues will stay the same. Office supplies, it's 700.
So
I mean-
we're sitting just below that right now.
So maybe we should increase that.
Maybe a slight increase probably wouldn't hurt. We're not bumping it.
That'd probably be good, because I will tell you, all the paper, the copies, the stuff like this, I just provide that. So I don't,
Did the file cabinet work into that? Is that where that landed?
probably, because it should have, because the file cabinet was, I have to look it up exactly. Oh, 205.66. So if we needed to, reach a point where we say, we need to, like, let's say next year I'm not president and somebody else has taken on that role. And I'm still on the board, but I'm not in the role of president. I wouldn't want that other person to have to turn around and be buying reams of paper and using their own ink and their own copier. I'd want them to be able to, get reimbursed for those supplies. I'm praying. So I think we should increase probably the office supply budget. Because we have the money. What if we do 1,500?
I'd rather have it there and not spend it than not have it there. Like I say, amendments are a pain.
Yes,
So
they absolutely are. What do you think, Larry? 1,500?
Sounds good.
Okay. So attorney fees will be the same. I don't think Lee's going up. Chamber will be the same. City website will be the same. It's 767. Contract for services and mowing, we have it 4,000. It didn't cost. What did we get to on that? 30, 80, 52, 79.
we're at 875 currently.
Yeah.
So, and if we get that building rented, the maintenance will fall on the tenant, right? Is this for that building?
Yeah.
So we're hoping that that would be absorbed. I would imagine the tenant would be responsible for the maintenance.
Yeah, I'm not. It's interesting that we left it at 4,000 last year. I think that one. You want to drop it to 2,000. That way, if doors fall off, I mean, there's certain things as a owner of the property we have to be responsible for, because even if you rent it out, if something goes wrong, we're going to have to come up with the money to turn around and, fix it.
Can we rename that line item or drop that and create a new one for ongoing maintenance of the owned property.
I like that. I like that idea.
Because we're still gonna need some mowing if we get it rented, at least one more, maybe two.
What do we want to call it? How about just property maintenance?
Property maintenance.
Yeah.
EDC owned, something like that.
EDC property maintenance. New line item. We're going to call it EDC property maintenance. So that can include anything, right? It can include mowing if the tenant leaves and we need to pick up mowing again. Repair the property if something happens, the tenant drives a truck through the doors or something and we have to repair it.
It's pretty broad.
Overall maintenance.
Overall maintenance of the
Overall
property,
maintenance of property.
of any EDC property.
Right.
So, for example, I do know the city council is talking about, well, why can't we trade that property for these houses that we own? The city owns several houses, 4 or 5 houses or lots in the city. And they're thinking if we give them the property in front of the park and they give us those residential properties, then we could rehab them and sell them and make a profit. Now, I didn't encourage that idea, but there's always a possibility with
Chris
new
is
board
phenomenal
members.
at rehabbing properties.
So,
I'll fix it. Sold.
so you want to leave it at 4,000? That gives us, since we've done that in the past, that gives us room for if we did make that trade, we don't have to make a change on the budget. Okay.
So basically, can we go in and edit line items, or the line item has to stay the same, and then we add something new and to zero it out?
That she'll have to ask.
That's a very question.
Yeah. So if we can change that name for new line item. I'm going to circle this. I'm going to circle it and put it down here.
That building has 2 roll-up doors.
Yes. 2 roll-up doors and 2 regular doors.
I see that probably being the highest, as far as things that could go wrong over there. Probably the highest probability, jump off track or.
Well, and they're old doors. So the person who came out and did them for us was wonderful. And he said that it's very difficult. He told me, he goes, make sure anybody who rents this building, they know to hold it from the center, and roll it up and down. You don't want to get it off track because they're also odd size. So they don't really make that particular size anymore. So John did a great job getting it up and working for us.
I hate to twiddle our thumbs, but I think we need to wait on Mary before we get too much deeper into it.
Can you tell what we do have a separate line here for FEC for Farmers Electric, and we have it at 500, and it says currently we've paid 75.
The meter fee, maybe? So they charge us to go out and.
Yeah, well, I guess, there's no AC. So it really is just 25 a month, because there's nobody's using the electricity.
Nothing operating.
That's not even
Right.
25 a month. We spend 75, maybe 15 a month.
Well, it was 25 in June. So
There's no electricity from there. Has it been on the whole time? Or did we just not get it turned on?
when did we get the electrical put in there without me having to go back to the notebooks?
Oh.
Okay.
It's interestingly low.
Honey, is she okay? Oh, okay, all right. So she's doing city business. It's not a citizen that, okay. I was gonna say, do we need to go out and rescue her from
Right.
someone? All right. So FEC electric, probably we'll just leave it at 500 because,
That's another one. The tenant's gonna take over. It'd be nice to have budget there in case something happens. The tenant moves on us, we have to take it back over, but they'll be responsible for electricity and water.
all right. So we'll just probably leave that at 500. We have the sales tax workshop that Mary and I will need to attend again. In that case, I'd love for you to be able to attend it at some point. And
I would love to have a better understanding.
Sales tax workshop.
yeah, and Larry, you've gone, so. Let me see. Just to get a rough
Where
estimate here.
did you have to go the last time?
We went to Richardson.
Richardson?
Yeah, so and they're doing another one in Richardson. It's $225 per person. So if we budget, and I bet Kathy will want to do that. You know, if the council puts Kathy on with her banking and her background, knowing her, she will probably want to do that. And so I think if 5 people attend, that's 1,125. If all 7 attend, if you want to go, that's 1,575. I think we ought to increase the budget. So if you want to go, you know, I think everybody on the board should have the opportunity to go if they want. And I encourage everyone on city council to go.
Yeah.
And for the mayor to go.
Did the budget include any travel for them or anything, or is that just straight entry?
They used to include the travel. You know, in fact, if you go back, you know, back when Linda Katner was president about 5 years ago, the whole board would get up and go. So they went to Austin one year, they went to San Antonio one year. So I think they paid for their own hotels, but it covered the travel and the gas and all of that.
But it's local now, we can do it in Richardson.
You can do it in Richardson, but you got to catch that one,
Yeah.
you know, that one thing out of the year to make it a Richardson attendance. Otherwise, you're looking at Austin or San Antonio or, you know, Lubbock or something.
Sorry, guys. I have a situation.
All right, you okay?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, so
Where are we gathering?
we're,
Or
let's,
as long as you've got good notes, you just fill me in later.
well, no, we need to fill you in now so we have a quorum here as we're working on the budget. But so right now we're looking at the sales tax workshop, which
Okay.
is $225 per person.
Mhm.
If all 7 members, you and I have to attend again
I'll
next
say,
year.
yeah.
If all 7 members should have an option to attend. So that's 1,575. And Casey asked a good question. Do we want to add travel costs, hotels, or anything like that if we go someplace else? If we might have to.
It's not, it was last time, was in Plano. Last time, we were there.
We did Plano last time.
But yeah, I would think definitely adding some travel expenses. But I mean, it's gonna depend on if we don't find the Plano one, we're looking at hotels for 4 people. I can creep up and get you, or we can leave it where it's at, and then once we hit the fiscal year, if we see if we're not gonna hit the Plano one, we can come back to meet and make an amendment on that specific item if we feel that we're gonna need to adjust those changes.
But like I've said, I really want to try and avoid doing that.
Oh, I
because
agree.
then you got to go to council and then you got to publish in a paper.
I
So there's costs that come with that. What if we budget wise, financially, we're doing great.
Okay.
We've got a lot of money in the bank. We've got a lot of ability. if we budget, let's say $5,000 for that, and we don't use 5,000, we use two,
Put it back.
225, or we'll definitely use more, we'll use, because you and I both have to go. Then it stays there and we don't have to do an amendment.
So that's the question over, Mary. If we have the money in the budget and don't use it, it just becomes rollover. If we don't put the money in the budget and there's nowhere to move it from, can you add money to the budget mid-year, or it becomes real difficult?
Yes.
So we're better off building a budget that we either stay short of or
Yes.
get to, but try not to exceed.
Correct.
So
Let's do 5,000
I think it
for
makes
the
sense.
workshop. Yes. All right.
I'm just gonna read off of yours.
All right, so here's what we've talked about so far. We've talked about increasing the office supply budget to 1,500.
Okay.
We've talked about attorney's fees will stay the same at 6,000.
Maybe.
You think she may go up?
Maybe.
I have not bugged her. I have been really good.
No, maybe not for EDC.
Go for this.
I have told her to give me some final numbers before we get too far into this budget season. She said she would give me some more numbers.
Okay. And tell her I like 500 for us.
I honestly think we'll be fine.
So this doesn't have to finalize until the September meeting?
I think we'll be fine
So we
to
have a
do
little
it in
bit of-
September.
So as long as she knows the fees.
Right. And I'm bugging her on city side too. As long as September, even if we have to call in a later August one, to finalize ours, so council can finalize theirs.
Chamber of Commerce stirs, I don't think they're going up. It'll be 100. City website is still 676. That won't change. We'd like to change this.
I would love to change that name.
The contract for services mowing, we prefer it to say EDC property maintenance.
Sure, I'm okay with that. I was gonna say professional services or contract labor of some sort because
Well, the reason we want to move it to EDC property maintenance and have the $4,000 is we want, if anything happens to the building, let's say the renter, one of the doors breaks, the window breaks. If they don't pay mowing and somebody's going to do a lien, we have to go pay. If they don't pay the electric, we have to go pay. This at least allows us to have flexibility. Anything we need to do for any property we own.
yeah, no, that sounds great. On this topic, are we going to include any maintenance on our signed property?
Are we
No.
mowing that? We did not agree to do that.
I just drove by and thought of it.
Okay, yes, that would be EDC property maintenance, so 4,000 is good.
I think that would be covered. I mean, it's a 8x8, 6x6, very small spot space. So we'll talk about that after.
Okay,
We'll chat about it.
it's a small space and probably somebody in the city will go down there for free
That's
and
what
do
we
it
do.
with no charge. So, but that would be included in that if somebody didn't do it for free.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think with it just being EDC owned property, maintenance, it catches a lot of.
Yes, it's a bigger bucket. And I will say something that me and the city administrator talked about is the city historically has had very detailed line items approved. Him and I have discussed having those detailed line items, but what's adopted on a bigger scale is a more broader spectrum versus for those times that we're like, oh, hey, for example, we'll have two property items, one that property. Historically, that's how that we would do it. We would have very detailed line items, but he would like us to get more towards the general bucket, for example, so it doesn't cause as many amendments later on down the road. So I'm up for more of a generalized area.
Does it let you have subcategories to a category as far as the way you work?
The software
Software setup?
has me, so it's basically broke into the fund, the department, and then the actual line item. And so there's, I guess, the best subcategories that we have our administration department, which is 08, and then that other one is the more detailed version. So I can't think I can go any further down, but we could go up and say, hey, our administration is gonna cost this much, and here's our subcategories for administration, kind of generalize those a little bit. Does that make sense?
And for us, because again, I hate the idea of publishing in the paper when we make changes. I do know when I showed this to the attorney at the tax workshop and I covered that with him, this worked for us. So we don't want to go too far down. We want, maybe more, for example, EDC property maintenance is a nice broad one.
Yes,
That lets us-
I like a
buildings
general,
like that.
yes, absolutely.
That gives us the ability to do all.
It
of
tells us
that.
what we're doing, but still keeping it general enough where we don't have to say very fine.
Right, but the public also, the purpose of the publishing in the paper is the public then gets to see our budget and the taxpayers get to say, okay, this is what's been improved and what they're spending money on. Right. All right, so the EDC annual audit, are we still paying that amount?
I believe that's what the amount would be, yes. I don't know with our new audit what it would be. Right now, we're doing a group audit of 3 different individual audits.
Okay.
So hopefully by this coming fiscal year, we will be 100% caught up in all of our audits, and we'll have a better understanding.
And this is 5283.
So we haven't paid it this year,
Correct.
right? Will it happen this year?
Yes, it will.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at the end of
I
year.
need to make some, I believe I need to make some, there's still payments due.
Okay, so, but you think it'll be 1250? All right, so we'll leave that the same amount. And then for Farmers Electric at 500, we decided we're gonna leave it at that amount, even though whoever rents it will take over the payment for the electricity. And right now, the only charge we're getting is about $25 a month, just because it's available, the minimum. But Casey had a really good point. If somebody gets in there, they don't pay the electric bill, and suddenly we have to step in and pay it, we wanna have a little bit of a cushion, so 500 cushion is good.
I like it.
Then for the new sales tax workshop, we just agreed to increase that to 5,000 so that all 7 members can go. And if you have to travel, some of those expenses can be covered.
The EDC memberships.
New Texas EDC memberships, that's 175. So 175 times 7. If the whole board quit and you had to get a whole new board, like what happened to the city in Trinidad, they know there was an agency where you could hire out a whole city staff and come in, learned that on the internet. But
That was a wonderful thing.
for everyone to go in and get their membership each year at the same time, it's $12.25.
I said we need that 12.25.
Yeah, we need to increase it to $12.25.
So I guess the question would be, so that covers all 7 of us annual renewal, but if we have a drop off, have to bring somebody else new in.
Oh, they have to do it
Count
again.
that.
They have to do it again.
Gotta count a little bit.
So should we add an 8 or maybe a 9 if we have to get new members?
If we just think of this year in a whole, we'll have 3 turnover potentially.
Yeah.
So
I would.
it's not
Which
ideal,
is
but
but not necessarily unusual. What if we did 10?
The memberships.
10 memberships, 1,750.
I think that's.
gives us a little bit of room.
This is going to be
That was 1,750 for membership.
Yes.
$1,750 for new membership. Can you read that? Because I'm going to give this to you.
That's fine.
All right.
Okay.
Secretarial wages, we're leaving at 1,500. We figure we'll have a couple of special sessions in there like today. Cotton patch will go to 1,500. And then that brings us to the question we couldn't figure out, what is development maintenance? This is 309-5281.
Let me get up over to 09. It'll be in page 2. One second. I want to fill in my spots. Right. What did it say for electric 500? 4,000. We're going to change the name of that.
If I remember right, when we discussed it last year, it had something to do with online presence. I can't remember what it was.
I do not know off the top of my head. But we can.
We haven't paid it. We owe somebody some money, or it's coming up soon, or it doesn't exist any longer. One of the 3.
chance there. What was it the year prior? Did we leave it there because we weren't sure what it was then?
I
And that's,
suspect,
I suspect the same thing. Do we want to drop it?
let's drop it. Let's remove it.
Cotton patch, we're doing a 1,500, what is it?
Yes.
Signs.
All right, now,
I know
it's not on here.
it's not on here.
What is the signs current year to date?
I need to look at that.
675.
I need to look at it, so I'm gonna put that in research.
Because we haven't bought any signs. We haven't paid for any signs.
That's what I'm gonna research.
Okay.
Didn't we buy a tablecloth?
So the canopy, does that come
That's
under?
a canopy, I guess. So.
Well, I don't know what we put that canopy under.
I'll
I
go
think
back
that-
and I'll research it and then I'll let you know.
Okay. I suspect that I think it was on the year before. I don't know.
We'll look at it and see. And that may be what this marketing promotions other is that we budgeted 2,000, we've used 887 of it. I say leave it at 2,000.
I agree. Yeah, marketing, so we're gonna remove development and maintenance. And then we'll leave marketing, promotional, other at 2,000. It gives us that flexibility,
Mhm.
like what we're using to do the check for the cotton patch this year.
Okay, chamber events.
All right, so now I got a question about chamber events. $5,000 for the Catfish Festival will probably be a yearly thing. But we also pay for one luncheon at the chamber.
Mhm.
And we pay for I think first responders is separate, but we pay for one luncheon at the chamber. And if the chamber came back and had another big event, like they were gonna do the entrepreneurial workshop, do you think we ought to increase this budget so that we have more room to pull it out of there?
So we had some budget overrun this year, 384, was that the luncheon? I assume so, 5,000 definitely not gonna cut it, I agree.
Could we do something where we have special event promotions and chamber promotions to where we could easily get rid of tournaments, these jam fest, these names of events and go special events? Does that make sense? And we could
Yes.
even do special and chamber if we want to keep the chamber events separated. That way the chamber would cover Catfish Festival, it would cover the luncheon, it would cover the first responders luncheon, and then all of our other special events. To say if EDC wants to help sponsor a city sponsored event or another event that's happening within the city promotionally.
Okay.
So are you suggesting get rid of, like, where it says fishing tournaments,
Yes.
versus?
Because this is a marketing and promotion category as a whole. So I'm thinking that we could make a general events,
And call it chamber events and city events.
special events. That way it's not a city event and it's another organization doing something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's say, we had Special Olympics come in and they want to have the kids go use the city park to do, special needs children. And we wanted to participate in that. That might not be a city, it might not be a chamber.
But that would also kind of cover the cotton patch. So that could be considered a special event that we don't have, so we don't have to break out every, because there may be an event that comes up that we don't know the name of it, and we're like, well, we can't do anything if we didn't budget for it.
It's nice to know, just like working through these workshops, it's nice to know what the commitments are, like knowing about the cotton patch, knowing about how much we put in each one.
Absolutely.
So those are your subcategories, but I do like the larger category.
Well,
Keep the
and
subs and
that's what I'm thinking. Like, me and Chris Goodwill talked about that. Like, so we're looking at doing a special event sign. Of course, it's going to be up for council to review, but we're going to give them, hey, here are the special events that we have on the books right now.
Mhm.
That's what gives you that number that you're going to adopt, where they can go up or down and review that as a council, but they're getting more of that executive level look at it versus, okay, so the cotton patch is going to be 1,500, or if we decide that we have more money in our special events when it comes time to approve it, we could do a higher sponsorship if we feel like that's going to give us a better quality of promotion.
How do we keep from having to remember year over year when we do the budget workshops, what annual commitments we do pretty much every year?
I mean, we can always, I can,
They're not broken out.
for me, and I can show everybody this, I can click on each of these line items and it's gonna break out what I've spent.
Mhm.
So if I were to do special events, I'm gonna have a transaction, give it more of a transactional history of what each one was. And then when we go to budget workshop next year, I can give that finer detail in the workshop. Just so we can kind of see, okay, yep, last year we did do the cotton patch. Oh, we didn't do that event we thought we were going to, but we did it years prior.
Where does it show up? Like, say that we have a meeting next month and that was the month we were supposed to do cotton patch. Where would we see it in the budget that you produce for us, that we have that money set aside for that event?
I would need to get a finer detailed report to you. Right now, y'all just see like the very basic financial statement. If we wanted to go finer detail, I could do another transaction or a transaction history for that one line item or two line items or whichever. Which I can bring that at our next budget workshop. I can go through and look at each one of these and see what went into what, or I could pull it up on the computer just as quick. If y'all don't want to see a printout, I can just click on it. That's what I did last year at council. They're like, well, how did we do on that? Click on it. Here's all the lines that we actually spent out of it.
Okay. So it sounds like, though, for right now, I'm leaning toward leaving cotton patch as a separate line item and having chamber events and then special events. I don't know.
So just a devil's advocate question: what sets apart the cotton patch from other special events?
I guess because the funding goes up to Greenville. So rather than it being a special event inside the city, or here with the chamber, down here in South Hunt County, it's a broader Hunt County event. I don't know. I guess it would have been in the same.
I would think it would still fit under the special event because they are still coming to South Hunt County. That's why we do that.
I think if you have a big bucket that's special events, that's fine to have a large amount, but you still have to be able to see the breakdown.
Yeah, we need to see the breakdown when it comes down to it, for sure.
I think that's where it may get dicey when we're trying to figure out, is it in the budget for that specific event or these type workshops, when we're really trying to see which, if you have that easily accessible.
Yeah.
Great.
I mean, I can pull it up right now if you grab over to. That'd be easier. Just gotta have my.
Well, actually, I don't think you need to right now. You know, let's wait when we do the bigger one, because this is what, develop it, and sounds like, you know, you can do it. So you'll be able to show us that.
Yeah.
So the question would be, do we want to go to special events? And then they can break it down, but we put all of those underneath special events. And if we do that, then what we need to do is we would need to add them all up.
Yes.
To know just exactly what amount we need to do. So if special events includes cotton patch, and that's 1,500. And then your chamber, you know, the Catfish Festival is usually 5,000. And then your luncheons, you generally have 2, and you're looking at about 400 each. That's 800. And then your first responders is going to be about 400.
We had 500 in budget and just went right below it. We went 493. We had 500.
Jam Fest is gone. Fishing tournament is gone. Special events. And so the other special events could be anything. How much did the 4th of July event cost? Y'all didn't come to us for any help with that.
It was budgeted 15,000.
Hey, Don, on the fishing tournament, we paid it out this year. Was that the last year of it?
That was the QISD Education Foundation.
Oh, that's
correct?
right. That's right.
And that could fall under the special events. Well,
Yeah, so, see, that's why it has to be listed out, because we do that QISD fishing, and that's 500. We get great advertising from that, and they launch from down here at our park. My guess is if we're gonna do the 4th of July event every year at some point,
Already scheduled for the 3rd.
city council is gonna come to us to see if we can help a little bit with it.
That's where the special events other category would be very
Yeah.
nice to have that budget, but
Have a little bit of that cushion for those,
still need to see,
see what comes up then. And that's gonna come with time on developing our budgets and working through them. So at any point, that's why I really pushed to have our IT department give us a computer in here that we could operate out of. So if I ever gonna pull the software up, I can. But I mean, we could do special events and chamber events, or we could do all special events, or we can do however we all want to make it work. It can work. I hate seeing something labeled as like the Jam Fest, and so the Jam Fest doesn't happen, and we can't use that
And
money
then
for anything else.
The money sits there unused.
Exactly.
So, based on quick calculation, for special events, if we have QISD fishing, which is $500 a year, Cotton Patch $1,500, the Chamber Fish Catfish Festival $5,000, the luncheons at the Chamber $800, the First Responders Luncheon $400, and city events $2,000, and we padded a little bit. That brings us to $15,000. Will keep us within budget of everything that we're doing that are special events.
that'd give us about a $4,700 buffer allotment there to play with.
We have a cushion.
I like that. Money does work. So right now, though.
The first responder luncheon, we need to go to 500 though, because we came in just under 500 this year on it.
So leave it at 5 or
Well,
So
we
we were at 493.
Oh, yeah, I would-
but I've padded it,
you gotta
and
go for
and
15,000.
I still haven't been able to get Raul to give me an invoice
Hmm.
for the luncheon. So that's going to be, it was $390 last year. It's going to be at least $390.
We have current year to date 493. Take something out.
Well, we paid Hefe's restaurant for the third that we owe for the EDC
Hmm.
event. So,
It fell under first responder luncheon. Is that not what
Yeah,
it
it needs to probably move under.
well, that's a separate one. So,
That's what we haven't paid for yet.
well, we paid first responders,
Okay.
okay? And maybe that was, so it's rancheros we haven't paid.
And that they were for first responders, or were they for the EDC sponsor luncheon?
Their rancheros is for the EDC sponsor.
Okay, that's where you're getting. That's where the disconnect was.
That's
First
what-
responders was taken care of with Hefe's.
yeah.
Rancheros was for another chamber event. Okay.
Okay, that's why we're at 5,384.
Yes,
Yeah.
that 384
There
was
you go.
yeah.
So what do y'all think about doing 15,000 for all special events?
I think it gives us some room there to play when the fireworks festival comes back around, or the catfish festival.
Mm-hmm.
July 4th, not catfish.
Okay, all those things. I got a lot of traction, so there's a lot of room for some emotional.
And we're not putting marketing and promotion in this. We're gonna leave marketing and
leave that-
commercial other separate
there.
with $2,000.
Yeah.
But we're gonna put all the events together and call them special.
And if I may not have been in here earlier, office supplies, is that going to cover like our brochures and those stickers and the folders, or no?
That'd be marketing.
Is that good?
It's
So-
marketing.
Okay, now is that gonna fall under the other, marketing promotion other? Is that maybe where that 887 is from? Now that I'm starting to kind of. Thank you.
That would make sense. We did the nice brochures earlier. this
Yes.
year.
Yes, those trifles, which I know probably need some more eventually. And we are out of the stickers, city stickers, and
What city stickers?
what's it, the city buys? Those stickers I put on public buildings. I made them.
City,
map.
city buys those
Did
stickers.
we buy those stickers?
Yeah,
Very cool.
it's the city.
It's all right. Same place. So that makes sense. So then that was just a thought that I had while sitting here.
Now, are you gonna go ahead and go through and remove things like, visit Lake Tawakoni? Did we ever get the
Sure did not.
Okay, so we approved and we paid good money for advertising on a wonderful big mat that's supposed to be at all these different fishing locations, and we were supposed to get a group of it, and we never got it. Can you follow up on that and find out where that is? Okay, thank you.
Do what this?
Put it on your list.
Okay, so we're moving that one over to,
But yeah, see, that would go in special events. Cabela's tournament doesn't occur anymore, so that would
our
be a
next budget
special
workshop, I'll take those out. The reason why they're there is because they had money budgeted for them.
event. Okay. Now, on the park, do we have to have it separated out like this?
We don't, but that's how it's been done historically. So when Fondue converted, they converted that apartment over.
Has the city taken on, they've taken more responsibility for the park,
Oh,
it seems like.
Absolutely.
If they came to us earlier this year for help with the basketball court, that fell under
Grants.
grants.
Yes.
So
We really don't need to have
we
anything
don't
in
have
the
to
park.
keep fixing the restroom. If they needed that money, we could add that to grants.
Yes, they
And
can
they
come
could
to us for a
look
grant
into
since
that.
we added those grants. So I'd say we could,
Just remove park completely?
my opinion.
I think it's too specified. Or
I
too-
would agree.
Too specific. Because if it's anything outside the restroom, that money's locked up.
Exactly.
Well, and if they came to us, like, let's say they decided they wanted to pave the park road completely. You're looking at a pretty massive expense. I think that would come under the infrastructure development, right? We wouldn't have to label that as park.
We don't have to label this park and come as a grant.
Well, if we do that,
Or,
we need to have enough money in grants to cover that.
I think that's one area that we
I
left
don't see
really
that
slim
coming in
this
the next
year.
fiscal year though.
That really needs a lot added to it.
Say that again?
I think the grants is an area that we left pretty slim this year,
Yes.
Mhm.
but we're offering a lot of grants
So
now.
we
and
do
that's-
definitely
and
need to increase
more
that.
things can fall under that, so I think that's an area that needs a major
100% agree on that one.
overhaul.
So would we want to agree if we remove that one? All right,
So we'll remove park.
additions to fixed assets. I know that was discussed prior to or at some point, but that is for our EDC building. So that's our fixed asset that we have. So
Okay,
any
but
additions?
I looked it up and I contacted TEDC, and we are going to use a portion of that to cover the library, the money for the library, so we don't go over on our grants.
But
So,
that's not one of our fixed assets.
but they said it doesn't specify our fixed asset. It is a fixed asset. And the library building is a fixed asset.
But that money wouldn't be available through the 4A4B project?
Obviously.
It could be. Let me see where.
I was gonna make a suggestion on the fixed asset, or not make a suggestion, but a question about it. So if we end up doing this trade-off with the city, instead we do end up with these residential properties, there's gonna be expenses with that. Would that fall under the addition of fixed assets?
Mhm.
I would agree.
I would just leave that one as is.
It's gonna take, regardless of how it works out, it's gonna take some money of some sort to finish out the transaction. So, it needs some budget.
Would it add more to that budget?
Although it depends on, end up with a bunch of residential properties, and yes, if we were able to go for all in, then no.
Oh, you're thinking that the city may trade for some of the residential properties?
I think that got thrown out in
Some
a
of the city council
council
members,
meeting, and
some city council members want to do that instead of for the wooded property.
we didn't touch it this year. Let's just run on an assumption. If another property came up for sale for 50 grand, and we saw value in it for a future business or whatever that is. That's what the fixed assets is for, right? Purchase something that's actually.
I would, yeah, I would say.
All right, so just leave it at 25,000.
Or do you want to, are you thinking about increasing it?
I don't know, it's, it
Because I
doesn't
see
give us
where
much
you're going, I
flexibility.
see where you're going with it, I think, guessing.
It handcuffs us to a very low budget
Mhm.
if something comes.
It
available
was
that we
great
think
for
would be
like a
great
remodel or
investment.
something, that's what it was originally there for.
But I do think if we're planning on renting out that building and we're putting that in the budget as a predicted income, then we're predicting that we're not trading out for those properties. So I think for the next year, if we're renting out that building, we're not gonna make the trade even if they offer. property.
Unless like you mentioned, we see something that could be a value to the EDC and acquiring.
Totally separate, that we turn around and we purchase totally separate.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about, using that 25,000.
Say a piece of land came up for sale and we thought, man, that would make a great spot for great business at some point in here. Are we able to go purchase that land if there's money in the budget under fixed assets?
We could do that.
Or do you call a special session or call for an amendment?
I-
at that point,
I lean
something
more toward
specific
calling-
comes in?
I lean more toward calling for an amendment. I don't know why. I think partly because purchasing the property is kind of, again, a little bit outside my wheelhouse. That'll have to be something that you guys as board members go, hey, this is great property. I think we ought to buy it. And I'm going to be like, I'm going to kind of defer, to you guys to make that happen. And I don't know how the citizens respond when the EDC does purchase property. So Mary, were you here when the EDC sold the property? in
I was
Fresno?
not involved enough if I was here. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
All right, so, and I wasn't involved at all, so I don't know if the city was,
I'm not even
citizens
sure
were
what
okay or
process
not
that-
okay.
I'm not even sure, I don't even want to make assumptions. That's how far uninvolved I was on that.
So if it's a very specific thing that comes available and we think as a group it's a good idea to move on it, I'd say we zero that line item for now, and then it would be just an amendment for
Yeah, we
whatever
can,
we need. If we don't have anything directly in front of us that we see that we're gonna need the 25,000 for,
I would agree.
it opens us up for. other
Now,
areas.
are we gonna have to do, if we get a potential renter in this property, are we gonna build to suit for them, or are they gonna be up for their own doing on that?
So if we leave a little bit in there and we do build out some to
If
suit,
it's a small business that really could use some help in the build out,
But if we did it like Quinlan, it would fall under a grant, right?
yeah,
So we would put that money. I love the idea, but I think it's in the wrong spot because additions of fixed assets means we're buying something. Right? Means we're adding to the fixed assets we currently own. So I think it'd be just miscategorized. That 25,000, if we're
Probably
looking at it
should
for build
put
out,
it
it would fall under grants.
under grants.
move it to grants with the 22,000. We need to boost our grant amount significantly.
It's something we're heavy on right now, and yes, it's gonna need a lot more than the 22,000 to do everything.
Because we also have acquisition here, obviously there's nothing in it, but if we go to want to, it's on this one here.
Let's see.
It hasn't been touched the past 2 years. but we
Oh,
probably-
there's a separate one, acquisition of
acquisition of-
fixed
Yeah.
assets.
So
Okay.
we want to zero this out and maybe possibly move that down to grants.
Yeah, let's move it down to grants, and if we do that, and we boost the grants a little bit, that would be 50,000 in grants.
I have maybe probably a little bit more on that.
I do
since we're getting
too.
so heavy in the grants.
I do
Yeah, you
too.
just think about the last couple
2
of meetings.
yeah.
we
Split out quite a bit. I mean, I would think either going 75 or maybe even a little bit more, just because we do have the cash to do that with. And if we've got more availability, then we're more willing to not be so hesitant early in the fiscal year on getting grants. That way it can be pretty consistent throughout the year.
if we want to promote the businesses to facelift, we're gonna need it.
We need some money to be able to
We
do
gotta
that.
help them. And historically, if we go back 15 years ago, when I went through the EDC budget at that time, I was on city council and I pulled all their books and I sat and I went through it. They had done grants to Karen Houston in the amount of $10,000 a year for 5 years. And that was for her commitment to remodel the front of the apartment complex, which is behind the barbecue restaurant, and 3 other properties that she owned out here that she renovated. So they did that particular grant was a specific given grant, and they promised her $10,000 each year for 5 years, so she got a total of $50,000. So we can do that. We're not, if we have enough money in grants, we're not stuck with, you have to fill out this one grant application, it has to be specific to this. We have that flexibility. So y'all want to move grants to 75,000? If we take 25,000 from additions to fixed assets and we add to the 22,000 in current grants, and we take the 10,000 from other projects, close that out, and move that up into the grants, that gets you to 60.
Even then, there's still enough cash to make it make sense.
I think if, like Mary's saying, it, we have a lot of money we're just sitting on.
Yeah.
And one thing we're gonna really push on, which it sounds like from our last meeting, talking about Quinlan and the way they're doing things, is pushing our grants. I think we gotta have a pretty substantial amount of money in there.
I agree.
You want more than 75,000?
I'm thinking 100.
That's what I was, that's kind of the number that keeps popping in my brain is go 100. Because we don't have to balance this part just yet. I mean, I know we're looking at coming down a little on our sales tax, but we still have 189 plus that 60 just sitting there to go with it. So I really think we got enough cash to do that. Obviously, I'll put the numbers together, and if we see like we're completely offset, then we'll adjust.
Okay.
If we just look at what's cash on hand, 70,000 next year for sales tax revenue, we have around 370,000 to play with. All 100,000 are zero, so that gives us 270 to play
To do
with.
the rest
And I
of
think
it.
we're going to be well under it still.
I
The
think
rest,
so,
but you
too.
got to do the math on it. But
I mean, you can see down here, very bottom. We budgeted 212 total for expenses this past year. But I still think we've got plenty of room.
All right, so we'll do grants at 100,000. Doesn't mean we have to spend it, you know, come to the end of the year, we did it, it's good. And then leave infrastructure development at 100,000. And then remove other projects.
We're gonna move it, okay?
I don't know why we would have,
I think because historically it was there, we left it there.
all right, let's just,
we spent 3,600 out of other projects this year. Any idea what that was for? Come on, Mary. What's everything?
It's right there. I know it was something.
They have to do with the park.
Now I want to look. We are still thinking. We have a few lines I haven't.
There's a whole lot that either it's going to fall under infrastructure or grants. One of those two. It's kind of a somewhat catch-all category. So other projects could or should fall under it, I guess. I'm just curious what we spent the money on.
Oh, what I want to do.
We lowered it from 10,000 to 9,500. So at some point we saw some relevance in leaving it in there.
or we did I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, if you do have another projects and you leave it in there, you know, I guess it does give a little bit of flexibility for like whatever we used it for.
The city can always come for other projects.
City comes through for water line, roads, that's all infrastructure development.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
City comes through for park issues, that's grants, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think of what we would use.
Special
for other
events.
projects. So we have the money for special
Separate.
events.
I wonder if that was, no, I was gonna say part of what we did for the job training, because remember, we're stuck with this weird thing with the job workforce. They had one job workforce, REL, job training, and job fair.
spent the 2,500 that was in job training. We didn't have any budget for job fair.
No, and I think since
we didn't
they're
have
gonna
any-
be working to fix all of that, I think
Clean it all up.
clean it all up and move all of this to,
All right, so let me go into.
Oh, I'm sorry, it was under adopted.
Okay, so which one we want to look at? Can you give me some numbers?
3,600 on 30/11/53/25, other projects.
Okay, so this fiscal year, that purchased the property for the, sign.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so we know that there's potentially another sign coming up this year.
Yes.
Where else would that fall if we don't have it under special projects or other projects?
Let's leave it at other projects.
Where it's
Do we
gonna
want to
live,
leave
right?
that same amount, or do we want to put,
I like same amount.
I know that original sign was ordered in pre-COVID days potentially, and I think the prices have jumped up. I think we selling that sign for several years.
I think I already paid for it.
The new one? So it's,
It'll be the property issue. And I ran across old documents when I organized all the stuff that was in the back and put it in the filing cabinet in order. I ran across the documents from TxDOT with very clear writings where TxDOT says, EDC cannot have this, EDC cannot have this, you cannot put signs here, you cannot do this. So I read through this carefully, that I don't think there's any way TxDOT is going to let us use any of their property for the sign. I think we're gonna have to do the same thing that we did with the church. We're gonna have to find a property owner down at the other end of the city who consents to letting us purchase a small area to put that sign up. And that sign, am I remembering this correctly, Mary? I'm pretty sure that sign's already been paid for.
it was an EDC grant.
Because the EDC paid for that back a couple years ago.
so then we need other projects. We need new budget.
We'll leave other projects in the 10,000 in it.
Was there something else, now that I've got this pulled up, that you have questions on, Casey, on what was? Moved into?
The 120 for development maintenance, it was last year.
Let's see if I can,
And it's 30, 90, 52, 81. So there's nothing, I don't think we spent anything in that.
let's see if I can just go back a few years. Park property, money law and title. Oh, that is, the earnest money from whenever they bought that property by the park, or the current property we have. Nothing was put into that, 4 years. 24, 25, no. Let's see if it was fund due, let's go back to 21, 22, I have nothing there. So the last time anything was used for it was the earnest money to purchase the current EDC property.
And that could come straight out of other projects.
That probably should come out of acquisition.
Acquisition of fixed asset.
So, was there any other ones that y'all thought of?
Do we want to budget something under acquisition? We'll remove development maintenance of 120. But do we want to put some money in acquisition of fixed asset?
I mean, do we have
Next year?
any inkling or thought of any fixed assets we want to purchase in this fiscal year? Or do we want to bring that to a special session or a regular session if we see something pop up?
I think for acquisitions, it's gonna be hard to put a budget on because we never know what's gonna pop up. It
I
seems
would
like it
agree.
would be more of a situational.
Sounds good to me.
lead on.
So we'll leave it, if it comes up, then we'll come in and do. We're not putting a big old catfish hanging over the city.
There's plenty of room in your front yard, isn't there?
No, not unless I get it.
All right, so we're gonna leave other projects at 10,000. And then we've got 3 categories, and I'm gonna put little hearts by them that need to all go together. We've got payments for job training, 3011-5330. We've got job workforce related events, 3011-5785, and we've got job fair 3011-5787. So we want to combine all those together, and can we just call it job workforce related,
I would just say do job training,
job training,
do it under the 5786.
and
Which is
then
what we did this year.
pull it all together and make it $3,000.
Agree?
3, because right now we spent 2,500.
Yep.
The last 2 years we spent 2,500 to the library for their job training. But one of the things that they did was they talked about the considering adding reading classes for some of our adults out here who can't read, who need to be able to read to fill out applications, and helping with literacy. So if we add an extra $500 on that, it gives us, I think, a little flexibility if they need a little more
If
money
we look
next
at all
year.
total, it's 2,500. If we group them all together, the 25 in job training, the 5 in job workforce, the 5 in job fair, and the 1,000 in payments. We could, or
Yeah.
that was if that's like from what we did in 25, 26.
Well, our published thing says we published 1,000 for job training,
Yes.
500 for job
Job
workforce
workforce,
related,
and then
500
500
job
job
fair.
If we could go 3,000, that makes sense.
Okay, that sounds good. Now, tax on property, the 3011-5360. I think we just need to remove that. There is no tax on property. The reason that at one time they paid 320 is because when the previous president and board reincorporated, they struggled to get some of their paperwork in, so they weren't tax exempt for a period of time, so they had to pay taxes of 320, and now we're tax exempt, so there is no tax on that property. I like leaving the 25,000 in for A4B projects or increasing it, not decreasing it.
Give me an idea of about where we're standing. Have some rusty notes.
I have no clue. I figure we're handing all this to Mary. She's gonna type it all up and then we're gonna see it.
Okay,
Say it again.
so
What was the question?
Where we're standing right now.
Literally, what I'm running through the numbers that I have in my notes, and then I will show you all what it looks like. That's what I really like about this.
Awesome.
Dolly, can you tell me again what 4A4B discussed? Maybe third time's a charm.
What do we move to a new sales tax workshop? So it's 1750. What is this?
We went to 5,000 on the workshop, 1,750 on the EDC.
Before decides it works. So we did 5,000, sorry.
Right.
You said that, and I still back the other thing. And 1750 for that. We left that at 1,500. Page, and if I'm missing something, yell at me.
I don't know how you do the special events. We're doing 15,000 for that, but they're all broken up in
I'm
events.
going to put it in a line, and then I'll go back and change the name.
Oh, okay, well, put it all on Cotton Patch then. Since you're
That's
running
where I
Cotton
was
Patch.
gonna go with, so, me,
Cotton Patch is 095280.
so we'll put 15,000 there.
Yeah, that'll help us see the numbers more rapidly.
special event. Development maintenance we were getting rid of, am I right?
Yes.
Marketing and promotion other.
Leave it
leave at
2,000.
Chamber events,
So that's under that special event. So
Okay.
you zero that.
first responders luncheon,
0. Jam Fest 0.
addition to fixed access, we said we're gonna zero that out. Yes.
Yes.
Grant, we decided to go 100.
Yes.
Same thing with infrastructure, other projects,
10,000.
10,000.
10,000, okay. Tax on property,
Remove 0 out.
That payment for job training, do you want to just put the 3,000 there? That's gonna
it's
be the
down
overall
here,
budget.
it's at the bottom. Alright, what did y'all decide on 4A, 4B? I didn't write it down.
Leave it at 25,000.
There's the job training one, and then job training. I'm gonna save that. Here's our numbers right here. So we're expecting to bring in 70, our expenses are 277, which means we need to bring over 207 from cash. That makes sense. Out of our reserves,
Okay.
which I could easily, if we do that, I'm just gonna put that number here. That would zero us out.
And give us a balanced budget.
That's balanced budget right there.
Okay.
That would leave us not including the income if we're able to rent the property.
Correct,
Very
that's
rough
not put that
numbers.
rental in there.
At very rough numbers of,
For right now, I'm going to. What number did we say for rentals?
I think we landed on 5,000.
5,000?
5,000.
2 months.
Okay. I'm gonna also make that note here, add that note. Save. That way I know that's not gonna be where we put it under there, I will put it under a new line item that kind of ease that.
I guess I'll ask this question, is it our duty to build up a large bank account, or is our duty to get the money back out in the community for the use?
I think you have to do both. I think if you spend it all, then you hamper the possibility of doing anything big and important that comes in. So I think you got to have, that's what she's talking about, reserves. You got to have a certain amount of reserves available. But no, our job is we're not saving for retirement.
Right.
Okay. So we're supposed to be helping the businesses come in and helping things, move.
I mean, that's a pretty good chunk of that, but I do think what we'll put out, the money that we're bringing into this, we'll be able to put out in the community, we'll see a improvement, which then would turn into, more stuff, other avenues of revenue to the city and the community itself.
Yeah. 4 years ago, one of the things that the EDC was doing is loaning money to people. So when somebody wanted to purchase a restaurant or a property and rehab it, they would do it as a loan rather than a grant. So they'd loan it to them and they had to pay it back within a certain period of time. And so that helped people purchase a property. The difficulty is that if they didn't have the money and the backing to then do anything with the property, they did pay us back. When I took over it in April, March, or whatever that was, 2025, all those, I think there were a couple property owners that paid back significantly. I'm very proud of them for doing that because it was a loan. But in the end, with that, they were loaned, so they purchased the property, but the property never got rehabbed and used. So they're having to pay for it, is my guess. They have mortgages on that property and they're still sitting and not functioning. So I think kind of the direction we're going right now, maybe hopefully it's going to be a different direction rather than loaning it to somebody to purchase a building that then they have to just pay back and they can't get it going. Instead, if you have a business going like the Wagon Wheel, which is going active, and they use that money to improve, making those as grants. Because we're not trying to make money, we're trying to grow the economy in the city and the business.
And the way our grants are set up, they have to make a substantial investment. We're only
They
funding
gotta
a
have
small
some
part
skin
of
in
it.
the game,
Yeah, a
for
lot of
sure.
skin. So I think it's a good program. How hard, so obviously we can't base it off a bank statement because the bank statement's not balanced. If, and next, before we say this is our budget, is there a way to get a balanced,
Sounds like,
a bank, a true balanced
Yeah.
account?
so, when we go to our next, even about our next regular session, this is kind of our rough draft of it and pretty decent draft if I say so. So it's in a good position. At our next meeting, we can also do a budget workshop, and we can look at the current bank statement, look at all the corrections and changes that we made before we make any final decision.
Just going on number 11, future.
So we're still in budget
No,
workshop.
we're still in the
What,
workshop.
so what are things that could bite us in the butt? If we come up short on sales tax next year, we've left enough buffer to where we're not.
I think so. I mean, even if we come through like mid-year next year, and we say, hey, we're really not bringing in that much sales tax, maybe we should not be giving out this many grants coming forward.
Scale
We
it back.
can scale it back a little bit, be a little more selective.
Very rough math, we should have about a between a $90,000 and $100,000 buffer built in, based on $70,000 sales tax revenue.
Yeah.
So,
I think that works.
and to me, this looks like it's gonna be a year of a lot of growth for the city, so I think we've done a good job of putting some budget in there to play with.
I'm excited.
Yeah, what's going on?
I hit the save button on this. Is there anything else you guys want to see while I'm still in the software? Numbers wise? Alright, well, there.
I will say, for this meeting, I'm so glad we decided that.
And I was going to 100% detail on the budget workshop. Whenever I do budget workshops, I just say discuss the budget.
Leave me on that.
I just want to,
I took a few more little like enhancing things.
yes,
but
yes,
that's-
that's kind of my thing is when I do budget workshops, those are my favorite minutes to do because it's, we discuss the budget. There was no action. There was no.
Larry, you feel good about it?
Perfect, yeah.
All right. Do I have to take a motion to end the budget workshop? Okay, so we'll move on. So we'll go to number 11, future agenda items. Is there anything that y'all know is coming up that you want to request to be on the next agenda?
I won't be in the next meeting if you need to know that.
Okay.
Do we want to schedule our next budget workshop, or do we want to just, since we kind of got a solid foundation, just throw that into our next, regular session?
I'm thinking throw it into our next regular session, but see, here's where we end up with a problem. I don't know where Cindy is. Because I message her, I text her, so this is the second meeting she hasn't been at. And, I don't know why. And so if you're gone at the next meeting, Casey, and Kathy isn't on the city council's agenda on the 23rd, like we had hoped, then that means we don't have enough to sit a quorum for the board, so we can't have our next meeting.
So you won't be here August 11th?
Correct.
Okay. Now we can call a special session. We can cancel, or maybe not cancel, but we can let that be a placeholder meeting because it is anyway. We can call a special session to finalize our budget. I mean, that's going to be, kind of play that by ear, see who we.
So we have September 7th meeting. and then budget takes place or goes into effect October 1st.
Yeah, the 7th, I would like to say we are 100% finalized, and recommended to council.
So city council won't be able to consider Kathy Bledsoe until the 11th.
Unless we have a special session prior to, which we may discuss that on Thursday.
Okay.
Because I do not see them going 3 weeks without another budget workshop. We've got a lot of budgets covered.
They were talking about it in their last meeting.
Casey, when are you back in town in August?
The 30th.
Of August?
On that Sunday. And a lot of you guys, I'm not coming to here on Sunday.
Nope.
What about, so that our meeting's the 7th, would we do something that first week of September prior to the next?
We could.
We could. So, all right. So for
We could do
August,
the 31st.
for August 3rd, we can't have a meeting because Casey's gone and we don't have enough people to sit.
Well, we don't, unless you hear from Cindy.
All right.
What if we schedule a meeting on the 31st? I know that's the day after you get back. That's like recovery day,
I'll drag it in.
but. I mean, just even if we feel we don't need it, then kind of see where city council's sitting. If we kind of come up with if we're able to have our August 3rd meeting, and we can just finalize the draft of the budget.
Okay. All right. So August 3rd.
You're planning on August 3rd.
We're going to try August 3rd. We're still going to do August 3rd, our regular meeting, and I will talk to Cindy. If she is not going to make it, then I'll message everyone and cancel the meeting because we won't have a quorum. So we're going to plan on August 3rd, and then we're also going to plan on August 31st to finish the budget. And I kind of like that anyway because I'd like you to be here for the finalization of the budget. And then our next meeting after that will be September 7th. So August 3rd, special session, August 31st, September 7th, regular meeting.
Okay.
All right, Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn at
I make a motion.
7:53.
We adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I'm a good seconder.
Your seconder, who first?
I first it.
7:53, the meeting is closed.
Did a heck of a job there, Mr. President.
Well, thank you. I gotta go take
That's a
Advil
lot of
now.
work. Oh, my God.